Sam from Nonfiction Horror. Today's video is going to be my favorite book to film adaptations pretty much of all time. Now I will say I am not including The Lord of the Rings. I'm not including Harry Potter. We get it, they're all amazing, but once again I still feel there's a whole lot more out there besides Harry Potter, okay? So let's keep going with that. My first recommendation is Matilda. So for me, this film is classic. I think everybody should check out this film if you haven't already. I really hope younger audiences are still watching films that were made when we were young because they're awesome, and I totally feel that Matilda can fit a lot of us booktube fans. I feel like we've always loved reading since we were little, and maybe we felt we were a little bit different for being into books because maybe it wasn't cool and we were considered nerdy, but I totally agree that I love books and I'm not ashamed to admit. So also, this countdown might be loosely based on films that were better than the book, because Matilda the book was great, but the movie actually added so much more to it. We have the infamous cake scene with that chocolate cake, which, I mean, that scene alone is so like horrific, like, and just disgusting. And we also have the character of Miss Trunchbull, Miss Honey, the mom and dad, of course, but I really feel you got to see more layers to the characters, so that's why I feel Matilda is not only a good book but an awesome movie.
Where'd all this come from?
The library.
The library? You've never set foot in a library. You're only 4 years old.
6.5.
You're 4.
6.5.
If you were 6.5, you'd be in school already.
I want to be in school. I told you I was supposed to start school in September. You wouldn't listen.
Get up. Get up. Get out here. Give me that book.
The second one I have is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Who doesn't love this movie? And I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp one, I'm talking about the classic original one. That one was just so good. I will watch this movie whenever it is on TV. I've seen it countless times. In fact, I actually went to the Alamo Draft House and I got to meet Veruca Salt and Mike TV, and I got a signed little poster. It was really cool to see the actors that I watched when they were little. Not only were they grown up, but just to show how this movie has been around for so long and it still has a huge following. So if you don't know what it's about, it's this boy Charlie Bucket gets a golden ticket and gets to meet Willy Wonka, only to find out that he's a little bit kooky and all the kids that he's surrounded with are really spoiled brats. So I just love the dynamic of the characters. I love the film. To actually get to see life-size candy that's huge, like those gummy bears, it's just a really great film, and I really like how it kind of has maybe a little bit of a kind of dark vibe to it. Can we just talk about that tunnel scene? Yeah.
Hey, Daddy, I want a golden goose.
Here we go again.
All right, sweetheart, all right. Daddy will get you a golden goose as soon as we get home.
No, I want one of those.
Wonka, how much do you want for the golden goose?
They're not for sale.
Name the price.
She can't have one.
Who says I can't?
The man with a funny hat.
I want one. I want a golden goose.
The next one I have is one that the book was really good. The book was sweet, but that movie, so good. I'm talking about The Fault in Our Stars. So I absolutely loved this film. The music was great, the casting was awesome. Augustus Waters was just adorable with his smile. I mean, every time he smiled, I smiled. And I loved Hazel Grace. She was adorable, and I felt for both characters because I can't even imagine what they were going through. On a serious note, to be diagnosed at such a young age and to feel like, I mean, people say life is short, but to kind of have that time over you and just to realize that you really are sick just puts you in a totally different setting, because you're like, wow, these poor teenagers, like, they might not even get to experience life into their late ages. It's just really sad, but I think the movie was beautifully done. I think it followed the book very accurately, except for maybe 1 or 2 points, but other than that, it followed it really well. And then even though it was a little bit cheesy, so I recommend The Fault in Our Stars if you haven't seen it. Just a really sweet, adorable book, but really sad. So bring some tissues, a whole box of tissues, really.
For about 1.5 years.
Maybe you'd like to share some of your fears with the group.
My fears? Oblivion. What's your name?
Hazel.
What's your full name?
Hazel Grace Lancaster. Why are you staring at me?
Because you're beautiful. So, what's your story?
I was diagnosed when I was 13.
No. Your real story.
I am quite unextraordinary.
I reject that out of hand.
with the whole lovers and sweet love, I have to recommend The Notebook as one of my favorite book to film adaptations. Not only was there Ryan Gosling, who is my biggest Hollywood crush, but there's also Rachel McAdams, and I truly believe they had so much chemistry on screen, which really helped this film, because the Nicholas Sparks book was really sweet, but a lot of Nicholas Sparks books can be a little bit kind of like one note. Not that they're bad, I read a lot of his books. It's just kind of like, I feel the films really get to add a lot more, of course, because there's more detail, but you actually get to see the chemistry between the two characters instead of just reading about it. It's just totally different to see it on screen. And even though that there was a lot more added into the movie that was not in the book, it still was really fun and I think really adds to it. So I don't think you can be upset at the movie for kind of adding some stuff to it, because I really feel like it helped.
Alright, we'll go up.
You think you're so smart, don't you?
That wasn't funny, no, you idiot!
No, it's okay. I'll take care of this.
What are you doing? Please don't do that. Just don't do that part either. I can't breathe. Oh, God.
You're not so cocky now, are you?
I'm gonna get you for that.
Oh, maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Lastly, I don't know if many people know that this was actually a book, but it was called Q&A, but the movie is named Slumdog Millionaire. A really good film that does show that they have totally different hardships that sometimes we take for granted, that we do have food easily accessible and running water, all that kind of stuff, that we don't have to fight every day for food, or we're not so poor that we are homeless living on the streets. So all that aside, I will say the book is probably night and day from the film. In fact, I don't think there's really much of the same, except that there was kind of a game show. But the questions in the movie weren't really similar to the questions in the book at all. It's about this boy who goes on the show who wants to be a millionaire, and he makes it really far to the end of the game, and so I recommend that you watch to see, does he win or does he not? He gets really far into the game, almost to the point where the producers are suspecting that he's cheating. How could he possibly know, just this guy who serves tea in a shop, how could he know anything about real life situations and history and literature and science? There's no way. But his whole rough childhood, little bits and pieces he collected through experiences that he just coincidentally knew because of his life. They happen to be questions on the game show. So the movie is really heart-wrenching. There's some really sad scenes, some really difficult scenes to watch, but nonetheless, it's an awesome film. And the book, I would say, it's a good book, but you could probably skip it, because I just felt like it was a little bit, I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite book by any means. I recommend all the other books before I recommend Q&A, but the movie I love, and I watched time and time and time and time again. Absolutely love it.
In Alexander Dumas' book, The Three Musketeers, two of the musketeers are called Athos and Porthos. What was the name of the third musketeer?
I'd like to phone a friend.
Here we go.
Hope you guys enjoyed my recommendations. I know this is just a few. There's so many more that I like, but these are the ones that I will constantly watch over and over and over again, almost at the point where I can recite the lines to all these movies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.